more for you, you feel it. You know it. This is your life, and it's time to go from contender to champion. This is The Show with John Madsen.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, John Madsen. This is The Show. Once again, I'm excited to be here today. Thank you for all of your continued support. This show is growing rapidly, and it's all because of you. So if you like a show, all I ask is that you share it. Please take a screenshot of it. Tag us on Instagram at John Madsen Official. If you have a question, ask me, because I make this show for the sole purpose of practicality. I want a person to listen to one of these episodes and have a framework or real life application that they can use immediately that's going to enhance their life. And so that's the whole purpose for the show. Again, thank you for your support. If you want free coaching from me for 5 days, go to athleticafchallenge.com. I'll ask for your email address in exchange for free workout plan, free nutrition guide, but most importantly, a framework for you to actually get the results that you've been working so hard for. Today, we're going to dive into the real problem when it comes to getting into incredible shape, and the problems that aren't really problems are probably what's holding so many of you back. And I know this to be true because I get asked questions all the time about really irrelevant things. And it's not your fault, because it's what you see on Instagram. It's what you see on Facebook. There's blogs, there's books. You've been told this bullshit by trainers or other people in fitness who don't really know. And all this information kind of trickles down, and all of a sudden you're left with an understanding that isn't really true. And so then I get a question. I'm like, man, there's so many people that are so fucking confused about something that in reality is really, really, really simple. We've known exactly how to get lean for decades. Literally. This isn't some new science where all of a sudden there's magic and some people know it and some people don't. It seems like that because so many motherfuckers are out of shape. In America, you can go to the grocery store, you can walk to Costco around the aisles, and you think to yourself, why? Why are so many people out of shape? And that's not even the real concerning thing for me, because to me, that's more of a choice. Unconsciously, consciously, most people, I've talked about it in other shows, are literally walking around unconscious. Their behavior is something they're not even thinking about. They, on some level, have to know that they're out of shape, but they either don't give a fuck about why, or whatever their stories are about not having time or being injured or their genetics suck or they can't do it because whatever. They sleepwalk through their life without even trying to improve. The reason I believe this happens is because in their mindset is really, really fixed. They believe that their traits, that their genetic makeup is not fluid, is something that cannot get better, is something that improvement cannot fix. And it sounds really stupid because most of you listening to this show, you wouldn't be listening unless you had a little piece of what's been termed the growth mindset. Everything I talk about really can be boiled down to this. Champions are made, not built. People can get better. Improvement is what's going to separate you from the other person. You can change your personality. You can change your behaviors. You can change the way your body looks. You can change the way you think. You can change your relationships. You can change every fucking thing for the better. But you see, there's a whole other group of people who believe that these things are fixed. They believe that their genetics are determined and that their fate is already determined. They believe that their personality is fixed. They believe that if they're shy today, they'll always be shy. They believe that they are who they are and their personality is what it is, and they cannot and will not change. So to help a person in that group, it's going to be really, really hard, because in order to change one of those people, they have to acknowledge the fact that they can, in fact, change, and that they want to and are willing to. So when I make these podcasts, I'm really not speaking to that group of people, because if somebody is closed and they're unwilling to change, or they're not even aware that they should change, then what we're doing is we're wasting a whole lot of time. And it seems bananas, because if you're looking at these people and they're severely overweight, you can look at their face and they look 10 to 20 years older than what they really are. And a person in the growth mindset who cares about their body, who loves life, can think to themselves, why are they doing that to themselves? Why would they do that to themselves? Why would they put themselves through that? I don't understand why the fuck they would do that to themselves. And you won't understand it. You might have this person as someone in your family or someone close to you or a friend, and you think these thoughts, but you don't have the answer. And a lot of times you bash your head against the wall over and over and over again because you want to help this person change, but this person is unaware that change is possible. So when I'm making this show, I'm really talking to the people who are already in the growth mindset, who know that they can change, who know that there is a better them out there, who knows that they want to meet their best self one day, who at 36 years old knows that when they're 37, they're going to be a different person, that when they're 38, they're going to be a different person, that when somebody that knew them 10 years ago says, John, you're not even the same person, or John, that John guy, yeah, he's changed. He's doing all this podcast and shit. Now he's some fitness guy, blah, blah, blah. He's changed. You're right, motherfucker. I've changed, and I'm changing every single day. And if you don't change along with me, if you don't grow with me, you will not know me. So many people are afraid of that. So many people are tied to an identity that they think they have. But growth is what sets you free. Growth is what makes you happy. Progression, something to work towards, becoming better, is exciting. Staying the same is fucking boring. Staying the same is depressing. People are depressed when they're going backwards and they're not making progress. Progress is exciting. So when I'm talking about making progress in fitness, and I tell you that it's really, really easy, and it's not like you have to decode the Da Vinci Code or solve this crazy puzzle, you think that there's some sort of magic out there. There's a magic supplement that you don't know about, that if you take creatine at the right time, before workout or after workout, it's going to make all the difference. That if you take a protein shake 30 minutes after the workout instead of 2 hours after the workout, that it's going to make some significant difference. You just don't know. And this is where I know so many people are confused, is because it's these questions that I get asked that a light bulb goes off in my mind, and I realize and I understand all at once that, damn it, people just aren't getting the essence of what's really, really important. They're majoring in the minors. Majoring and spending so much time in the minutia of things that don't really move the needle, that they're forgetting about the big, boring, basic things that are going to make all the difference. You see, when it comes to fitness, you can do the basics and have the basics take you 99% of the way there. Once you master the basics, then you can move on to the little tiny complexities of meal timing, carb cycling, and all these other things that will maybe move the needle and break through a plateau. But if you're not 99% of the way there, then worrying about all that little bullshit is just going to keep you from achieving your best body quicker. It's going to make the process a lot longer. And this is why when I go to the gym and I go to a commercial gym and I see people doing a million different exercises, so many different things, and I think to myself, if they just knew that they were wasting so much time majoring on the minors, they would be so much better off. So what is the actual fucking problem? If you're listening to this show right now and you're like, okay, John, I get it. Like, what's the fucking problem? How do I look like you? How do I, if I'm a 40-year-old dad, if I'm a 40-year-old mother, if I'm a person who just started in the gym 2 years ago and I'm not getting the results, I take off my shirt, I look in the mirror and I'm like, fuck, I just want to know if it's possible for me to go to elite. I want to be elite. I don't want to be just this average Joe, because actually, like, that's who I work with. I work with people who are like, damn it, like, I'm already going to the gym 3 or 4 or 5, sometimes 7 times a week. I'm putting in fucking effort. I'm doing this stuff. I eat clean. I understand that I can change and I can grow and I can improve, but damn it, every time I look in the fucking mirror, I still think to myself, like, dude, why can't I look like that? Or what's going on? Or where am I going wrong? And then that's where you start looking and going down this rabbit hole for the little fucking secrets, and you care about fitness. So you're getting on the blogs and you're wondering, will creatine make the difference? Will this supplement do this? Should I get on a fat burner? Should I do this? Should I go keto? Fuck, maybe I just watched this documentary on Netflix. Now I'm going to go fucking vegan. I'm going to do all this shit because I want the results and I want them fast. But what you're doing is prolonging your results by just not being clear. And so I wanted to make this podcast to just give you the essence of everything that I try to say when it comes to fitness. Literally the essence, breaking down all the other stuff into a simple, easy to digest formula of the things you actually need to do to get yourself 99% of the way there. Awesome. What happens when you get to 99% of the way there? Well, most people are never going to get there, but if you do, then perfect. Now we can worry about those minors that you were worried about far too soon, because those things can make the difference, but they're not going to make the difference for you unless you're 99% of the way there. So back to the problem. Back to the problems that you have to solve to get 99% of the way there. This isn't complex. This is really, really simple. The first problem, and really the number one problem that almost every person that I work with, and that if I'm showing you transformation photos and these people have this ridiculous transformation where they look kind of average and then they have abs 16 weeks later or 24 weeks later, the first thing that I solve for every single person that I work with, the first problem that you need to solve if you're listening to this show is awareness. You have to have awareness. You have to have awareness about the caloric load that you're putting in your body. Because without this awareness, you can only get so far. So it doesn't matter if you do keto or paleo or intermittent fasting or whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to go vegan, fine. But if you think that that's going to solve your problem and that's going to get you 99% of the way there, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. Because what all of these things do, if they work, and they work a lot of the time, because you have to understand that most of America is fat and out of shape. So most of America is going to eat fast food. Most of America is going to order pizza. Most of America is going to eat burgers and fries and milkshakes. And most of America are going to order Coke and Pepsi and soda with their meals, and they're not just going to have one, they're going to get a refill at dinner, and they might get another refill. So here's the thing. If most of America goes from eating bullshit to going paleo or keto or whatever the fuck, they're lowering their caloric load, they're going to lose weight for a certain time period. But what about you? What about you, the person who's going to the gym 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, and you just don't know how to get shredded? Awareness. We're talking awareness in the realm of nutrition right now. Awareness. How many calories are you putting in your body? I get it. Tracking is fucking hard. That's why tracking doesn't work for a lot of people. Tracking for the rest of your life isn't a solution that most of you are going to choose. Tracking every single day for the rest of my life isn't my solution, but tracking for a certain number of weeks for somebody who hasn't really done it the right way is going to bring an immense amount of awareness to you to understand exactly what is in the foods you're eating. Because so many people are eating foods that they deem clean because it's on the Whole30 and it's approved and this and that. And that's fine because that's going to help a lot of people. But you have to understand your situation for what you want to accomplish is different than normal Americans who are in that fixed mindset. Your situation is that you want to be fucking elite. So your situation, you actually have to give a fuck about how many calories you're putting in your body. And you actually have to do that over a certain number of days, weeks, months, so that every time you look at a piece of food at a certain point, like I'm at the point now, I pretty much know, relatively speaking, what my caloric load is. Now, that doesn't get me off the hook. If I'm going to do a photo shoot in 12 weeks and I got to get completely shredded, guess what I got to fucking do? I got to stop eating intuitively based solely on my own judgment, because even that, it's too loose. It's too loose. And if you're too loose, you can't get shredded. So even me, if I have something important to do, I will go back to tracking and being exact. Plain and simple. So if you're like, fuck, John, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to track. I'm not going to take 2 seconds to weigh how much, my food weighs before I eat it. Fine. Be average. Be fucking average. I don't care if you're average. If you're average, you're average. That's fine. I don't need everyone to be elite. But the people I work with want to be elite, and so I have to bring this awareness. Okay? So be careful who you're listening to. If you want to be average and you don't really care and you just want to look okay, no, you don't have to track, you don't have to have immense awareness. You have to have some to just be average. But if you want to go the distance, the first problem you have to solve is you got to be very, very aware, because what happens a lot of times is you start going to the gym. Say you go to the gym 7 days a week, you're lifting weights, you're doing the right thing. You've tried keto, you've tried intermittent fasting, you've tried all this stuff because you keep thinking that if you just do something drastic and you put these rules on yourself, that your body's going to look a certain way. And it might even work for a second. You jump on the keto bandwagon, you lose 20 pounds, and then you plateau and you're like, fuck, it's not working anymore. And damn it, that donut looks good. Fuck, I want that beer. Shit. Now I'm out of ketosis. Now what? So you keep trying these things that you think is the magic deal. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the problem. Okay? Awareness, knowing how many calories you're putting in your body. Obviously, too, if you want to go elite, then we break it down into the macros. How many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat. Okay? So very, very simple. If you want to improve, you have to be aware. Problem number 2, I told you this isn't the Da Vinci Code. This isn't about all the other shit you're worrying about. Problem number 2 is adherence. If you know how many calories you're supposed to have, and you know how many grams of protein you're supposed to have, and you know that your fat and carbs can be kind of whatever they want, and if you listen to the right people who have the right science, they'll tell you that over time, it doesn't really matter if you go low carb or high carb. It literally doesn't matter. If your calories are equal and the amount of protein is equal in both groups of people, it's been proven over and over again, that your results will be pretty damn similar. So you got to know what type of person you are, right? For my clients, I take them through different phases because then I can learn what they like and what they like best for themselves, okay? But that's neither here nor there. Adherence means that you can do it forever because anybody can eat ice chips and lettuce for a week or 2 weeks. If something's really important, if you have a 20-year reunion coming up in 8 weeks and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show everybody how the fuck good I look now. Or you have a wedding, or you have a vacation for work or something, and you're going to go to Cabo or somewhere on a boat. And you're like, damn, I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to be chiseled. You can restrict. People can trick themselves, but where people fall off is they don't adhere to the principles for life. So who gives a shit if you can get to 10% body fat for a certain time? If you can't live that leanness 12 months out of the year for the rest of your life, then what are the benefits? What are the benefits? And so this is where it gets really interesting. Because if you have the awareness and you have the adherence, that means that you can do something that doesn't feel like you're dieting all the time. Because if you eat a caloric load that's super, super low and you're restrictive, what is that inevitably going to lead to? Binging. So if you restrict 6 out of 7 days, and then on the 7th day, you just eat whatever the fuck you want, you're not really getting anywhere. If someone has a shopping problem and they're like, shit, I'm only going to spend $20 a day, and that's what I'm limited to, and they do that for 29 days out of the month, but on the 30th day, they go and spend $15K, does it really matter that they restricted the whole rest of the month? No. Restrict. Binge is not adherence. Adherence is being adherent to your plan all the time. So can you have cheat meals? Is there diet breaks? It depends. I have a big appetite. If I'm going to cheat and I eat 10,000 calories because I devour a whole extra large pizza, it's really fucking up the previous 5 days. So many people get into this cycle where they do good for 6 out of 7 days or 5 out of 7. They're just like, I'm going to eat whatever I want on the weekend. And that's fine because they can look pretty good. But then they wonder why they can't look really fucking good. You just got to check yourself. Are you being honest with you? Honesty with yourself. Are you really doing it? Are you really adhering to it? Adherence in nutrition is what we just talked about, but adherence into the training program is also important, right? Awareness. Problem number 1, awareness. Being aware of the fact that you don't need to do 3,000 fucking exercises despite what all the bullshit says on Instagram. You look on Instagram and you flip through and you scroll through and you see your favorite Instagram model doing a whole bunch of bullshit. Why? Because they got to post something every fucking day. And if they just post squats, deadlifts, and bench press every day, people are going to get fucking bored. So they got to think of some other bullshit. And then they're like, fuck, how else can I make money? Well, I'm going to put my name on this little booty band, and then I'm going to do every exercise with a booty band. So every fucking person I follow wants to get this stupid ass booty band that is put around their knees on every goddamn exercise. So you're getting information from the wrong fucking people. So awareness is huge. Like, what is important as far as training is concerned? What is the essence to people who look incredible without performance-enhancing drugs and can look incredible 12 months out of the year for the rest of their life? When it comes to the gym, doing 3,000 different exercises, doing a bunch of HIIT training, doing a bunch of boot camp bullshit, you're just wasting time. Thinking that you have to sweat and be dead after a workout is going to burn you out, which is adherence, right? So a lot of times people do the same shit with training. They join a training program, And for the first 2 weeks, that's all you hear about them talking about. Oh my God, this is fucking awesome. I'm dead after the workouts. They're taking selfies laying on the ground with sweat just dripping down their face. And it's fucking awesome. But what they don't realize is exercise is a stressor. It puts you into fight or flight. And so you start doing that over and over again. And then you have your life stressors. If you're a high performer in business and you got to do a bunch of business shit, sometimes that acts as a relief, but then you never get out of it. And all of a sudden you're just burnt the fuck out. And what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? It's going to be when you look in the fucking mirror after months and months and months of trying to look better, kicking your own fucking ass in the gym, sweating your ass off, eating clean, days on days on days, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, fuck, I still don't have a six-pack. What's the deal? So adherence to a training program is just as key. You got to do something that you can do forever. You got to do something that isn't going to burn you out. You got to find a training style that you like to do that's scientifically valid to get you the results that you want to get. So what does that look like? Plain and simple. Guys, you have to get stronger. Girls, you have to get stronger. Going to body pump class or a pole dancing bullshit fitness class, can you lose weight doing that bullshit? Yeah, because you're maybe more active than you were. But if you want weight loss, then, this podcast isn't for you. We're not talking about just losing 20 pounds. We're talking about when you go on vacation with a bunch of friends and you're 30, 40, 50 years old and you take your shirt off or you wear the fucking bikini and people inside go, fuck that person. That motherfucker, he's miserable. All he eats is boiled chicken and lettuce. I don't give a fuck. Oh, she doesn't eat anything. You want people to literally look at you and dismiss the fact that you look fucking awesome because they're so pissed at themselves that they want to make an excuse for why you have what they want and they don't. It's not like you're competing. It's just doing you and being your best self every single day. You want people to dismiss the fact that actually you found something that you have a lot of awareness about, that you can adhere to, not for 6 weeks or 8 months, but for the rest of your life, and that you can walk around 12 months out of the year just looking phenomenal. And in the gym, it comes down to strength, whether you're a guy or whether you're a girl, whether you're a dad, whether you're a mom. Strength is king. Strength is king. If you're not getting stronger, you're not doing it right. If your sole purpose in the gym is not getting stronger, then you're not focused on the right things. So once you have all of that in place, literally, once you have all that in place, you're aware, you're adherent, not for the short term, but for the long term. Your focus is on strength. Your body fat levels drop all the way down to where you look really, really good. Then you can start worrying about the minors. Then you can start worrying about meal timing. Then you can start worrying about carb cycling. Maybe, for some of you, maybe that can make the difference. But if you're not hitting the numbers anyways, and you're not aware of what you're doing, none of that shit matters. And so when you're worrying about those things before you're even close to being there, you're just wasting a whole lot of time. Awareness, adherence, strength. Repeat. You do those 4 things and watch your body change.
Thank you so much for joining us for another amazing episode of The Show with John Madsen. The greatest compliment that you could give us is liking, loving, and sharing this episode with all of your friends. So please go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and then share it online with everyone that you know. Make sure to tag John as well. He loves to hear from listeners of the show. The links for all of his socials and iTunes are in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to engage John for anything related to his coaching, consulting, or programs, please visit johnmadsen.com for everything you'd need to know on how to engage with John offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Show.